Area Committee. I'm Councillor Lawrence Fitzpatrick and I chair the committee. The meeting's been broadcast live and a recording will be available afterwards via the Council's website. I am being assisted today by Greg Welsh, Deputy Chief Exec, and colleagues from Committee Services and IT and supporting officers. Attendees may be joining the meeting from another location. Everything said while microphones are live will be broadcast and recorded. Members are asked to be polite, respectful and patient. There is more information, including a privacy statement about meeting arrangements on the Council's website. An agenda has been published showing the business for today's meeting. I will introduce each item. Usually a Council officer will speak briefly about their report before councillors ask questions, have a discussion, make any decisions which are required. Councillors may leave the meeting from time to time where they have declared interests that prevent them taking part. There will be a pause while that happens, and they will be invited back in for the next item of business. If the meeting proves to be a long one, it may be adjourned temporarily for a meal or comfort break, and I will see if that's going to happen. Thank you. Do we have apologies for absence, please?
Thank you, Chair. We have apologies from Councillor Maura McKee-Shemmelt. And Chair, I can also confirm that Stephen Haig from Bell's Quarry Community Council is connected to the meeting remotely.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest from members? None. Thank you. The order of business is as per the agenda. Can we confirm the draft minutes of the meeting which were held on Friday 9th May? Thank you very much. We now move forward to the police report. And I understand that no officers are present from Dry Division, Lothians and Scottish Borders. Are there any questions from members? And these can be passed back via the officer, having read the report. Councillor Heggie?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. The point I noted was on the report, I think it was third page maybe, yeah, page 5, sorry. On shoplifting, there's been quite a number of retailers have spoken to me pre the start of the summer and during the summer. You and I had a chat about it, Chair, as well, the amount of shoplifting. And I think the major thing to highlight is that I think, shoplifting isn't a kind of blameless crime. It's a horrendous thing for the team that work in the shop. It's a horrible, very stressful thing for people to deal with. I've spoken to quite a few local retailers and even a few people in the centre, and I know it's a crime that's probably existed since shops opened, but I think it's something that needs to be realised, that it takes a massive toll on the people that work in retail. And obviously we're seeing in this report that the police had to create a plainclothes team to then deal with it, which is a massive draw on their resource as well. But I think probably if we can get the word out, just to say to people of all ages, it's not a crime that's particularly aligned to any age group or any class of person, that, it isn't a blameless crime. The effect it has on people in retail is absolutely horrendous and it has to be taken seriously. Thank you, Chair.
Fine.
It's just something to mention. It was the spring-summer football programme led by PC Oliver. The success of that just seems to be rather outstanding, that they've had to, increase the funding for the people turning up. So it really is just to praise them for that. Okay.
Any other comments? The only thing I'd pick up about improving road safety, this is the Livingston South Area Committee, and if we look on page 5 under improving road safety, third paragraph, here we are talking about a multi-agency day of action at Whitburn. So we'd pass the message back to the police. We want the report focused on this ward, please. It may be a case that they intend to expand it to other wards, but it would be helpful. Okay, we're happy to note the report. Thank you very much. And we now move on to the fire service report. Ben Carlin, please. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you. I'm providing the Q1 report for 25-26.
If you take your mic a wee bit nearer you and we'll all hear you properly.
Apologies, Chair. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
So for accidental dwelling fires, in 25-26 Q1 we had 4, and these were cooking appliances, and that is down from 7 from Q1 24-25. For accidental dwelling fire casualties, we had 1 with slight burns, and they went to hospital for slight injuries. For non-fire casualties, we had one with chest pain, heart condition, and they went to hospital with slight injuries. Deliberate fires have come in at 32 for quarter one, and these were up from 26 from quarter one, 24-25. Non-domestic fires were 0, and these were down from 3 quarter one of 24-25. Our unwanted firearm signals, we had 21 in this quarter one this year, and that was 16 the previous year. For road traffic collisions, we had 2, and this was up from 0 from quarter one, 24-25. Community safety engagement during quarter one, 25-26. We had the spring thematic action plan on the 16th of February to the 31st of May. The summer thematic action plan, which was the 1st of June to the 31st of August. During the spring and summer 2025, high levels of staycations and activities around Scottish water and tourist locations were relevant. Fire-related antisocial behaviour remains a priority, in particular in the school holiday period. There is also emphasis on preventing wildfires. Lithium-ion battery safety has also been introduced as a key objective. There's S6 Experience. S6 pupils from across West Lothian recently attended the S6 Experience, an educational event aimed to equip senior pupils with critical safety knowledge and skills as they mature into young adults. The format included a mix of workshops, presentations and interactive activities delivered by a wide range of community partners, including SFRS, Police Scotland, Scottish Ambulance Service, West Lothian Drug and Alcohol Services and Rural and Urban Training Scheme. Subjects included road safety, fire safety, bystander training, drug and alcohol awareness, delivered to over 1,000 S6 pupils from 11 secondary schools at 4 hosts over a 4-day period. Fire risk recognition training delivered to partners from across West Lothian who are looking with and visiting the community within their homes. In Livingston Fire Station, we had a charity car wash. We had station visits for 20 young people from Scouts Fire Safety Badge. We had a Friday night football engagement and positive role modelling with young people. Attendance at Excite colour and event, public engagement and safety advice. 5th Livingston Boys Brigade Station visit for home fire safety advice. St Paul's Primary School Easter Calder, summer fair, public engagement. Lithgow Bridge Primary School appliance visit and fire safety talk. Lockhouse camping rally Lithgow, camping and caravan safety. Acres Country Park appliance visit and water safety advice. Easter Town Primary School outdoor fire safety and water safety talks. Now, we asked to deliver this from our community team as well. And West Drive Fire Safety and Personal Safety Events was June 2025. In previous years, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service has been involved in West Drive, aimed at S6 young people. West Drive was a road safety intervention aimed at providing young people with the skills and knowledge to become better drivers. In June 2025, a short life working group designed a new set of new interventions aimed at tackling the risks and challenges emergency services were aware were prevalent to young people. Interventions to keep young people safe and also support to prepare young people for life after school and independent living. 4 full days sessions were held from 9th of June to 12th of June at a host of secondary schools to engage with all new S6 pupils. The sessions were planned to provide young people with the opportunity to learn real life skills including driving, road safety, car ownership, home safety and personal protection. The events were coordinated by Police Scotland, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service and West Lothian Council Services. Other partners that supported and attended on the day were West Lothian Drug and Alcohol Service and the Scottish Ambulance Service. On the day there were 4 sessions that were delivered by a range of services and partner groups rotated round each session throughout the day. And the sessions were road safety, the legislation, understanding the road and driving, delivered by Police Scotland, road safety, drugs and alcohol, bike maintenance and the role of emergency services and first responders, delivered by Police Scotland, West Lothian Drug and Alcohol Services and Scottish Ambulance Service and Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. Personal safety and bystander training was delivered by Police Scotland. The home safety session delivered by Scottish Fire and Rescue Service covered house fires, the cause and how to prevent them, electrical safety in the house and student accommodation, including information on what to do, information on cooking and what to avoid, creating fire hazards and the dangers of e-cigarettes from a fire hazard perspective. The session used video footage of a house fire to demonstrate how quickly they spread and what to do to keep yourself safe and your experience of or witness a house fire. For Livingston South, in total 1,068 young people attended across the 4 days. Within the Livingston North Ward, the James Hall Young hosted on 9th of June a total of 100 young people. James Young and 105 young people from St Margaret's attended a session. On Tuesday, 10th of June, 68 young people from Inveralmond Community High School attended a session at Inveralmond Community High School. And that is my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Ben. Are there any questions from members? Sorry. Councillor Heggies first. You came up first on the screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I think the community safety engagement is absolutely brilliant, and it's a fantastic thing to hear. I think it'll have a really big impact on the awareness of young people, and hopefully we'll have a real prevention on, you know, incidents for yourselves and the team. I just wondered if you'd managed at this point, obviously it's still quite soon, to have any feedback, maybe from the schools or maybe from parent groups or anything like that. I suppose just on how it made them think about, you know, how they act in public. And obviously you can't blame young people for a lot of the incidents that happen. You know, unfortunately, they do get the blame for a lot of things, but we hear a lot, obviously, as elected members about, you know, things being put on fire, and obviously it calls your team have to then come out and kind of service these needs. Thanks.
If I could, yeah, we continually seek feedback. Our community teams engage regularly with the schools, and even on the day, you'll get feedback on the day from students. From our experience and from my personal experience, they really do engage well with these days, with all the service partners working together to help educate them. So yeah, the feedback's always been positive.
Thank you. Maria, Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask about the deliberate fires. Now, I know that an awful lot of work goes into actually, you know, with young people trying to stop this from happening, but I know certainly in Ladywell there was a few fires over this period, and I just wondered, is there anything further it can do? Is it always young people that's doing this, or is it other people? I mean,
it can be a range of people that are carrying out deliberate fires. And there's always more that can be done, and we work tirelessly with our partners and the council to help educate the young people and to help, you know, the wider community become more affluent and more understanding of the risks and dangers of fire, and to have a more sort of positive impact on their own communities as well. So there's always more that can be done. Unfortunately, it does range from young people to people who are not young adults or adults as well. But we focus on addressing these as and when they appear, and we work tirelessly to try and reduce these numbers.
I just wanted to also ask about the grassland and woodland area and crops. And there's 22 within the Livingston. Is that within the Livingston South Ward?
Yes, that's within this ward, yeah.
And has it been identified that any of this is relating to young people?
I could get back to you on that if you want, and discuss what we've identified. Many times when we turn up for these fires, there is no one to identify. They've set the fire and left, and even if there were people standing there, we haven't seen them, or someone's not seen them. Yeah. Then, you know, so it's hard for us to prove who it is.
Do you also know what areas that this was? I just know that there's been an awful lot of work done by, you know, the woodland just to reduce, you know, fires from starting. So I'm just wanting to look to identify where it could be.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll get back to you with that. I'll take a note just now to get back to you what areas that you said 22 grassland woodland crops break down into, so you can.
If you get back via the committee clerk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've one question, and it was on your community safety and engagement, and in the last sentence in the first paragraph about the summer thematic action plan, you say lithium ion battery safety has been introduced as a key objective. There's been a lot of commentary nationally about this, and there was talk of potential for legislation to give a more robust and more rigid control and guidance on the use of these batteries. Can you give any further information on it, please?
I don't have any further information on what they're going to do to introduce a more robust guidance. But what I do know is the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service is working they have a working group identifying the risks and issues associated with lithium-ion batteries, whether it be on commercial or non-commercial premises, the storage and use of them. So the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service is looking into providing robust guidance on this matter.
Yeah. from memory that there were instances where people had been charging overnight in their homes.
Yeah, we always recommend you don't charge.
Was there a fault with the batteries when they explode and go on fire?
There's always a recommendation that you don't charge your lithium-ion batteries or even like your mobile phone overnight while you're sleeping, because there's always a risk, regardless, because it depends on how you are treating that phone or how you're treating your cables, etc. So we wouldn't recommend that you charge any lithium-ion batteries whilst asleep.
Okay, so that's all batteries rather than just the lithium ones, is it?
I would, for lithium-ion batteries, with all batteries, it could depend on what we're following in there. You could have a slow trickle charge for a battery, which would be fine. You'd always follow the manufacturer's guidance on that instance.
Yeah.
For lithium-ion batteries, for example, within mobile phones, we would recommend that you don't charge them whilst you sleep.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any comments? Thank you very much, Ben. Sorry? Oh, sorry. Beg your pardon.
I just want to make a comment. The visits and the fire safety talks that you do. Many moons ago, I was involved with the rugby club, and we had you along, and the talks are absolutely great for young people to get engaged. And it does mean such a lot for people to do this, but I noticed there was only one mentioned in there with the youth action team. I just want to know, it would be really good to see that if you were going out to a lot more other people as well, because those talks are precious, and even if it is to young minds, they take so much on board and they're so proud when you turn up. So keep doing the good work.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's generally what the feedback is from our teams and from our crews that go out and deliver it. It really benefits young people when the fire service engages with them. And we target, based upon risks at the time or what time of year it is, what our talks are. 100%, I'm all on board for delivering to local youth groups to just build up that positive relationship with them.
Fine. I think we all appreciate that. Happy to note your report. Okay, thank you very much. We now move on to item 7, the Housing, Customer and Building Services Report. Jennifer Benson, morning.
Thank you, Chair. So the report covers the overall performance for the Livingston South Quarter for Housing, Customer and Building Services in Quarter 1. Income collection and income management remains a priority for the service, and we're working to reduce our rent arrears owed and take court action where appropriate across all of the areas, not just Livingston South. But we have seen a reduction of £42,000 on the rent arrears balance compared to last quarter in the ward, which is very positive, with low and high debt balances decreasing overall as well. Our housing officers continue to support our tenants on the ground with the early intervention work, assisting with DHP applications and really focusing on universal credit as we move through managed migration as well. That remains a priority, that early intervention, and working with them to address any issues that might arise from that. There's been 4 evictions in Quarter 1 in Livingston South, which is an increase on the same quarter in the previous year. The total value of that is over £18,000, which has contributed to the reduction in overall debt. There was also £8,700 written off as a result of sequestration. So there were 2 sequestrations in the ward in the quarter as well. There continues to be a high demand for council housing in Livingston and Livingston South as well. We have let new properties, and we have seen increased void turnover. There has been any delays in letting has sort of been influenced by the ability to get materials, timelines, and that sort of thing as well. In terms of our housing stock and investment, the ongoing work in Ivanhoe, Clement and Durward and Mowbray Rise is progressing, and the roof and render, roof and rough crust programmes are continuing. We will have 2 new build areas at Emanville Crescent and Simpson Parkway that we're hoping will be completed soon. And obviously the tenant engagement and participation, that has been reimagined a little bit, and the officers are doing a lot more work in regard to sort of being present in the community and doing pop-up events. They recently did a pop-up at ASDA, which was well received. The benchmarking around it sort of shows that this modernised approach is more effective post-pandemic as well, which is the route we would like to go down with that. So the Estates and Safer Neighbourhood team is fairly newly established as well. And that's really starting to bed in now following the organisational change, and we're seeing a lot of good cross-service work across the ward, in particular in regard to the Fernbank area, which is positive as well. The Safer Neighbourhood team, who are part of that team as well, continue to work to address antisocial behaviour in collaboration with our community safety partners. And as well, just as an aside, I would like to say that Sandy Ross has now retired, so recruitment is ongoing for a new housing manager for the Livingston area. And that sort of concludes everything for me, if anybody has any questions.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Any questions? Councillor Macaulay, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear that Sandy's retired. He'll certainly be a loss. I just wanted to ask about the Fernbank in terms with I know it's an ongoing issue, but from what I see when I pass by, fly tipping is people just come because they can see the bins now. Beforehand, I don't know if you know the area, but the bins used to be covered. And because that's been removed and it's small barriers, when people see the bins now, they just think, oh, I'll dump my rubbish. And the cars will pull up because it's right beside the road, dump the rubbish and then leave. It's not always the residents' fault. I mean, some of them might not be doing the recycling. I'm well aware of that. But it is an ongoing issue that just seems to people, I mean, I think it was last week, there was a suite down there. Just people think, well, I can do that. And it's the brass necks of them, I actually think, because it's not always the residents. I know that sometimes they feel targeted by this and it's not always appropriate, but I just want to flag this up. What more can be done, do you think, for the fly tipping here?
So I think it is a complicated thing because, like you said, it is multifaceted. It's not just, we can see clearly who's at fault and we can rectify it through tenancy management and things like that, because there are other services at play that we do have to work collaboratively to reach a solution that will work for the residents and for the community as well. It is something that I'll take back to Nicola, who's our estates team manager, and I can get you a more comprehensive update on what actions we're actually taking around Fernbank and what we're doing as a local authority to try and improve the area as well.
That would be great. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Any comments? Councillor Macaulay?
I'd just like to praise your early intervention work that you're doing, because it's certainly making a difference in terms of bringing the cost down. But it just means that people that are struggling are coming forward, and that's a huge barrier for people to come forward. The fact that they're now doing it, and it shows in the stats. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your report. I agree with the report. Thank you. We now move on to item 8, which is the service update from Nets, Land and Countryside. Victoria Mungo, please. This is your first time presenting at committee, and welcome into your new acting role.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to provide a service update for Nets, Land and Countryside for the period of the 1st of April 25 to the 30th of June. In section D2, grounds maintenance, a further update for members. We are now in cycle 7 of the grass cutting. In section D3, garden maintenance, the same applies, and operations will continue until the end of October before we switch to winter duties. On the whole, there has been a 50% reduction in the number of garden maintenance inquiries from the same period in 2024, and we are working with housing colleagues to maximise efforts. Within section D4, under Cleaner Communities, members will note the success of the Keep Scotland Beautiful campaign, where to quantify Wesleyan's efforts of the 50,000 bags collected across Scotland, Wesleyan's contribution equated to 20 tonnes of litter. From April through to June, members will note a reduction in the number of instances of fly tipping, and the locations almost halved. Officers continue to support and engage with the public through various means, including social media, providing information on responsible waste disposal. Enforcement officers have been proactive in attending hotspots, using cameras to catch and deter. Within section D5 regarding the Livingston long-term forest plan, members should note the intention to move to public and stakeholder consultation before the end of this year. Within table 1, a significant increase in the number of tree-related inquiries as a result of the recent storm damage. Ash dieback final works were completed on Howden West Road, and the 2-year contract for ash dieback has now been issued. Works will recommence following appointment of a suitable contractor. In April, a miniature forest tree planting workshop was held at Inveralmond High School by officers, and in May, one of our rangers visited Williamston Primary School to deliver the Scottish Outdoor Access Code to Primary 6 pupils. June saw patrols of Campbridge Park and Muirston Trail and the Linhouse Loop to report any issues. Across August is Biodiversity Month. Full details are available on the Council's website. Work has been carried out along the Almond to treat invasives, and the community workshop was held to educate the public on invasive non-native species within West Lothian. A stakeholders meeting took place on the 14th of May on the Local Biodiversity Action Plan to agree outcomes for the next 2 years. In section D6, members will note a significant increase in the number of open space inquiries. This was as a result of temporary settlement of the travelling community on open space close to Bankton Mains Play Park in Broxburn. Meetings are currently scheduled with colleagues in housing and environmental health to discuss the service implications and how we best tackle them. Within cemeteries, members may also note the increase in inquiries in reference to the table under burial of an adult and child, and in cemeteries general inquiries. This is a result of a change within the Burial and Cremations Act, whereby previously the information was not required. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. Any questions? Councillor Macaulay.
It's really good news to say that Howden the ash dieback has been complete, because I certainly know that there was a lot of work to be done there. Is there many areas within Livingston South that are still awaiting completion?
Thank you, Councillor Macaulay. We're still assessing all the areas, so when the new contractor's in place, the first part of that programme will be to assess all the remaining areas. So I couldn't give you a definite answer on the extent, but we'll probably be able to come back on that relatively quickly.
And what is the timeline for getting somebody in place? Do you have that?
The tender was out. We're currently assessing those tenders, so we should have someone in place within the next month.
Next one. It's just, I know that some people have contacted me personally about some ash dieback issues, and it's just to try and get back to them so that they know it's in hand. By the end of the year, we should certainly have some figures for this.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be good. Just wanted to also ask about the children's play inquiries. I know you said it was due to some of the camps, but it's gone up from 7 last year to 186. Is that purely just for that, or was there more to do with the children's play areas in section D6?
So yes, that increase was, the inquiries were generally all related to the travelling site. We did have a normal kind of level number of inquiries relating to play parks, but the spike was in terms of the travelling site.
And everything has been returned to normal now, I take it?
Yes, we're kind of working on that at the moment.
That's good, thank you.
Anyone else? Could I ask, please, I'm so pleased that the Rangers going out to talk to primary school children, and that has been at Williamson. Have these visits been rolled out to other primaries?
Thanks, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Yes, we've got a programme, and I'll find out from our Rangers team where everyone is on that programme, and I'm happy to share that information with you.
That would be most welcome. Thank you very much. Any comments? Nope. Okay, we're happy to note the reports. Thank you very much. And we move on to this national 20 mile per hour speed limit strategy in appropriate urban areas. Implementation in Tier 1. Gordon Brown, please. Morning, Gordon.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. On the 18th of February 2025, the Council Executive approved a report on the national 20 mile per hour speed limit strategy in appropriate urban areas in West Lothian. The implementation of this national strategy is funded by Transport Scotland. The report detailed the reasons why Transport Scotland have introduced this national strategy and outlined how officers will implement it. The purpose of this report today gives the details of the public roads that we propose to introduce 20 mph speed limits on in your ward. Maps of the affected areas in this ward where the speed limits will be reduced to 20 mph are shown in Appendix 1. It is worth noting that most of the residential streets already have advisory 20 mph speed limits, which will be changing to mandatory 20 mph speed limits. Appendix 2 has the same information, however it is listed in a table format. Officers will shortly publish this information on a new web page on the Council's website, and we will collect feedback from residents using an online survey. Comments received will be analysed and any appropriate alterations will be made. In the next few months, we will be advertising a temporary traffic regulation order which will have a duration of 18 months. This will allow officers to make any adjustments to the new 20 mph speed limits. Officers will undertake the process to formalise the final 20 mph speed limit traffic regulation order prior to the end of the 18-month temporary traffic regulation order period. Officers will also liaise with Police Scotland to ensure that they are satisfied with the proposals to allow them to enforce it. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Are there any questions? Councillor Heggie?
Thank you, Chair. Morning, Gordon. I just wondered, obviously, there's quite a lot of streets already where we have, the 20 mph speed limit, which is great. You see it as you drive in. I recommend people to slow down. Has there been any offer towards West Lothian Council to contribute some money towards creating like CAFIC calming measures within these streets? Because I'm just thinking, obviously, habitually people drive to suit the speed of a road. As it changes, it's not an automatic thing to slow down. I just wondered if there'd been any kind of, as part of the legislation, there'd been an offer of funding really to help us out. I'm just aware when you drive into places like, if you go through like Livingston Village, you hit the speed bumps as you go along, so people naturally slow down.
At the current moment in time, the funding available from Transport Scotland is for the implementation of the signage and road markings only. What we will be doing is we'll be doing before surveys in appropriate streets and after surveys to determine how successful the 20 mph speed limits are. If during the 18th month period it's recognised that some speeds aren't being adhered to, we can revert back to the existing 30 mph speed limit. However, if it is an appropriate road for 20 mph speed limit and there is a lack of compliance, we could possibly apply to Transport Scotland for funding for traffic calming measures if we deem it necessary. So that's the sort of process we'll have to go through to do that, Chair.
Thank you. If you ask another question, Chair. It mentions in the report, obviously, that our colleagues from Police Scotland support this, and I think everyone would support anything that could add to the beneficial health and safety is massive. Between somebody driving at 20 mph an hour to 30 is great, but have our colleagues at Police Scotland been asked about how they would be able to enforce it? Because obviously we hear, obviously we don't have MD here today, but generally we hear from our colleagues at Police Scotland that their numbers are very limited. Obviously their resource is very stretched. And I just wonder how, as we move 20-hour speed limits into residential streets, have Police Scotland come back to the council or any other body to say how they would help, to make this work and I suppose to enforce it in any way?
So the police obviously will be responsible for enforcing the speed limits. They will be doing that as they currently do on a casualty basis. So if there is areas that are highlighted as causing a problem or high non-compliance, they will target these areas. But they won't have the resources to go around every 20 mph speed limit assessing traffic speeds. They'll be doing it on a casualty and reactive basis.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments? Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you. I've just got to say that I absolutely welcome the 20 miles per hour, especially around the schools being sort of finalised. I think it's a positive thing. Certainly know when coming down past St Margaret's, the 20 miles per hour limit that's there, the amount of people that actually adhere to it even during school times is quite alarming, and it can be rubbernecking all the way up if you're driving at 20 to get past there. So in terms of the safety that this is going to have, it should be recognised. Well, it's a good thing. Thank you.
I'm going to call on your memory, Gordon. I wasn't long in the council around the turn of the century when we introduced the 20's Plenty campaign, and every residential street got a sign up. It came a point where new developments came along and there was no money left for the 20 Plenty. Was that the case? And that this proposal is just to cover that gap which has occurred in the intervening period?
20 was a pilot scheme trialled by the government at the time. They were putting all roads to try and get people, as you know, to travel in urban areas at 20 miles per hour. In terms of moving on from that period, roads and developers are designing roads to 20 mile an hour speed limits, putting in sort of low radius corners, narrower roads, traffic calming, and generally developers are being asked to implement 20 mile an hour speed limits before the road is adopted by ourselves. So that is a positive change in terms of new developments moving forward. Any developments that have came in the intervening period that haven't got 20 mile an hour speed limits will be getting 20 mile an hour speed limits through this programme.
Okay. I think that's useful. So it was a sort of stop. It was a big move at the beginning, then it stopped. Then there was a gap. Then we came along and said, design your roads so that it's difficult for drivers to drive at more than that speed.
That's correct, Chair. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Happy to note the paper. Thank you very much. And we now move on to the General Services Capital Programme. You're presenting this, Gordon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. The purpose of today's report is to provide the Local Area Committee with an update on the General Service Capital Investment in the ward during 2024-2025 and the current planned investment for the period 2025-26 to 2027-28. For the 2024-2025 identifiable investment in the ward was £3.9 million. The total investment is broken into three main asset categories. Property assets, which accounted for 93% of the total investment. Roads and related assets with £158,000 worth of investment. And finally, open space assets totalling £108,000 worth of investment. Further details on the projects undertaken can be found in Appendix 1 of the report provided. Looking into the period 2025-26 to 27-28, there's currently a capital investment of £1.9 million in the ward over the coming years. Full details of the planned investment are provided in Appendix 2 of the report. However, the main areas of investment do include £1.1 million under the property asset category, which will include roof repairs at Inverarmond High School and the free school meal expansion at Bells Quarry Primary School. Under the roads and related assets, there will be patching and resurfacing works carried out on various U-class roads. In total, there will be £513,000 invested under this category. £311,000 has currently been identified under the open space category for the period. This includes works to Livingston Skate Park. In line with established reporting arrangements, reports on the progress of the 2025-26 approved programme will continue to be presented to Council Executive following detailed monitoring reports at months 4, 6 and 9. Officers will continue to review capital funding and investment assumptions, taking account of the potential for ongoing reductions to the capital grant. This will ensure the updated programme to be considered by Council in early 2026, which remains prudent, affordable and sustainable. It should be noted that projects identified between 2026-27 to 27-28 may be subject to review as a result based on the capital grant available to fund the investment. That concludes the update on the General Services Capital Programme, and I'm happy to take any questions, Chair.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Are there any questions from members? Councillor Macaulay?
Thank you. I just wanted to ask about the timeline for the Cedarbank demolition. I know it's been quite a contentious issue in terms of young people around that area, so it'd be really good to know.
Chair, I'd need to go back to my property colleagues to get a timeline on that for you. That's okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any comments? Can I say I'm glad to see the works, taking place at Ladywell East Road and Murison. East and Murison West roads. And I'm delighted with the quality of the repair at Crofthead Centre for the new steps and the pavement, etc. And that was commended by the Community Council at their meeting last night. Are we happy to note the paper? Thank you very much. And we move on to the locality plan. Item 11. Scott McKillop, please.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to report to the LAC progress and actions in the Livingston locality plan relevant to Livingston South Ward. D1 provides a background to the report, providing context to regeneration areas within West Lothian and within Livingston. Within Livingston South, Debridge and Ladywell are regeneration areas. Appendix 1 lists the actions from the plan relevant to Livingston South and provides, where relevant, updates on these actions and also, where relevant, the next steps. D2 provides some highlights kind of from the appendix related to both Ladywell and Debridge. So D2.1 relates to Ladywell Neighbourhood Network and the support we're giving them to respond to some of the needs within that community and to sustain their activities and obtain funding. D2.2 relates to Ladywell anti-poverty work and the efforts of partners to kind of mitigates the lack of a food project there. D2.3 relates to Ladywell Community Garden and the efforts of officers to support the establishment of a new committee. D2.4 is Debridge Regeneration Group, and that relates to the volunteers who are supported to look at the ponds there and working with services. D2.5 it relates to Crofthead Management Committee and the good work that's going on up there and the efforts to look at asset transfer. And D2.6 relates to Debridge community assets, trying to support Crofthead and Lanthorn to respond to the community needs there and coordinate their efforts. Happy to take any questions, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. Are there any questions? Councillor Heggie.
Thank you, Chair. Morning, Scott. Scott, on the very last page, next steps, the groups managing local community assets will be invited to participate in Debridge Partners Group, a view to coordinating and complementing each other. Sounds like a brilliant idea. I just wondered if you could expand a wee bit on that, please.
Yeah, so I guess across the board we've got regeneration groups which pull together local partners that are working in that area to kind of collaborate effort. So there is a group just now, the regeneration group, but that's more community based and about supporting community volunteers. So my colleague Brendan Meehan will be pulling together a group around that already. I think he perhaps has already to just try and get some impetus to the regeneration work in Debridge. I can provide some more details on that, Chair, if required.
Okay, any more questions? Councillor Macaulay.
Thanks, Scott. I just wanted to ask about the low cost provision in Ladywell. I know that there does seem to be, in terms of the food banks, that there's people travelling to Knightsbridge or Craigshill to the Youth Action to try and go between the bottom. Has there been any bridge work done in Ladywell to try and?
No, unfortunately, since the Baptist Church kind of stopped the community fridge, we've looked at it with partners, but there's no community capacity at present to develop that. But so it's more been around trying to kind of mitigate that and encourage people to go elsewhere. And other projects do report that people from Ladywell are attending them, so at least there is that. But we'd be we would prefer it if we're able to provide some of that provision within the community. And we have had anti-poverty service and other partners coming out to speak to groups in terms of related issues, but it's still something that's on the priority for the group. So
it's still looking for a base, but at the moment other groups are still working together.
Yeah, so it's looking at a base, but also an organisation who would lead it, because even if it's relying on volunteers, still requires there to be some coordination behind that, and in order to obtain the food as well, which isn't always straightforward. It requires a lot of work to go and collect it. You kind of get partnerships with local supermarkets, etc. So a lot of work to get done, but it is something we'd be keen to re-establish.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any comments? Ria, please go ahead with your question. We'll let the technocrats work all this out in the background.
It was just a comment to say it was really good to see that Crofthead Farm had done really well at the weekend. I was hearing people turning up and things had, all the bikes had gone, so it was brilliant. Just to pass on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I have two comments. I really am pleased about the development of the Livy South Community Support and Wellbeing Hub. Now that they have 9 members organisations, very, very well developed a business plan which raised the significant amount of cash to provide the facility. And secondly, Crofthead doing very well. I was also at their open day, and the organic beetroot is just very tasty. Okay, we now move on to the work plan. Are we quite happy with the work plan? Yes. And can I thank our 2 chairs of our local community councils at Livingston South and Bellsquarry for attending, as always. Thank you. Thank you for your attendance.